Hi guys, Ty Lord here. I recently just did some reorganizing of my DVD shelf, and I decided to display all of my Xbox and Xbox 360 games. So you'll be seeing all these beauties behind me for a while. Um, so since I had them out, I figured I'd do a little collection video of my Xbox games. I might do the 360s another day. It might take a while to get through these. Um, yeah, so let's get to it here. Xbox is one of my favorite consoles ever. I think I've said it before, but this was like the first time I had a decent job in my life, so I had extra money to buy games. So I just didn't rely on odd job money or Christmas money, birthday money to buy games. Around this time, I had a pretty decent job. Actually, it's the job I work at now. I might have been a little bit before then. I did work at a pizza place, and I got some good tips. Actually, yeah, it was around the pizza place time. I had a lot of extra cash. I could buy games. And now recently, these things have gotten so cheap. I look at all of these and think back to how much all this would have cost back in the early 2000s. These games were $50 a piece. Back then, some of them were less. A lot of them back then I got used or buy two get one free at GameStop. Recently, I've been finding a lot at yard sales and thrift stores. I always did have quite a few Xbox games because I never got rid of many of them. Back when it first came out, I have I didn't get it brand new. I got one refurbished from GameStop shortly after it was released. I had a Dreamcast before that, which I was happy with. I think the main reason I went for Xbox was my boss at the time was hyping it up and telling me how great it was, so I bought into that, and then it ended up being true. Anyway, so we'll get started here. I try to put these in alphabetical order for the most part. Starting off with my 007 games. I love all of these games. Agent Under Fire, Nightfire. Two great first-person shooter adventure games with some good multiplayer on there too, similar to GoldenEye. This is one of my favorite games here. Everything or Nothing. I spent so much time on this. Being a huge fan of the classic Bond movies, this was like a love letter to the old Bond movies. It almost felt like a Roger Moore era movie. It has Daniel Craig, pardon me. It has Pierce Brosnan in there. It has a lot of big Hollywood actors in there. John Cleese, Judi Dench. This copy, I think they gave me the music CD that goes along with it. Oh, it's a limited edition DVD. It has tracks of the music in the game on this disc, though. This is a game I played over and over and over. I tried to get platinum on every level. It sort of plays out like Resident Evil 5. And now that I mentioned that, the multiplayer on this is a lot like Resident Evil 5. Before Resident Evil 5, you played as two random spies, MI6 spies, that did co-op action levels. It reminded me a lot of Resident Evil 5, but this was a lot sooner than that game. Anyway, love this game. This was my favorite action game of all time. This is probably my favorite game until I got Resident Evil 4. Yeah, I really love this game. I could just go on about that game all day. I'll move on to the others. GoldenEye. This is a really fun first-person shooter. A lot of action. You don't play as Bond. You play as some dweeb called GoldenEye, which is kind of lame. Anytime there's a Bond movie or game that's not starring James Bond. It's lame. No, but it's a decent game. I don't want to talk smack about it. I enjoyed it a lot. From Russia with Love, here's another one I really love. Sort of has a similar play style to Everything or Nothing. This follows the movie From Russia with Love, one of my favorite Bond movies, classic, the second Bond movie ever made back in '63. This was the second Bond movie ever made, one of my favorite movies of all time. And I'm just so happy that a game would be made based on that movie. It even has Sean Connery, and old Sean Connery came back to voice it. Like, this game was made for me. It takes a lot of liberties and adds stuff in there that's not in the movie. But overall, I really enjoy this game, and I appreciate how much classic Connery Bond was put in there. 50 Cent Bulletproof. I just got that one recently. I haven't played it yet. I don't remember if this is the decent game or the crappy one. I remember there were two 50 Cent games. I think this was the earlier one that was crappy. Arctic Thunder. Area 51. That's one I need to play. Event Horizon. This is one I'd always wanted, but I never picked it up. And I got it cheap at like $3 at a retro game store last summer, but I still haven't played it yet. This looks like a really epic space sci-fi adventure type game. Kind of looks like Mass Effect. Battlefield 2 here. Batman Rise of Sin Tzu. Beyond Good and Evil. This was a really great game. I wasn't really expecting much out of it. It's sort of a... actually, you know what? It plays a lot like Zelda. It was like a sci-fi Zelda. It's a really easy game, but it's really fun. Black, that's a really fun first-person shooter. Everyone knows about that. Blood Omen 2, I haven't played that one yet. Jav Geez gave me that. I'm happy to have that one now. And then Dead Thumb Gamer sent me Blood Wake. I'm really happy to have that. Twisted Metal on the Ocean. BMX XXX. Another, that's like a BMX game, like in the same vein as Tony Hawk. I think it has scantily clad ladies in there, like videos or something. I remember this was controversial back in the day. Brothers in Arms, Earned in Blood, and Road to Heal 30. These are really good World War II action first-person shooters on Xbox. My brother-in-law got rid of all of his game collection, and he ended up giving me all of his World War II games. He was big into the World War II games. So I'm happy to have these. They look and play best on the old Xbox. Brute Force. This is a favorite of my buddy Alex, Dat Game Collector. And Tight White as well. This is a pretty decent Halo ripoff. It's third person, which I prefer over first person. And I think you can even do 4 players at once on the story campaign. Each character is unique. Like, one of them's all around, one of them's like a tank, one of them's a sniper, one of them's like a spy. Yeah, there's that big monster guy. It kind of gives me Mass Effect vibes, but this was before Mass Effect. Burnout. These are my wife and I and my brother. These were always our favorite racing series. Actually, the first one is my favorite. It's come a long way since this, but this was just pure adrenaline. Like, you got in the wrecks in here, and there was all the car damage, but it wasn't like the point of the game was to crash. You were trying not to crash in this, but the traffic was heavy. It was just an adrenaline rush. And then the second one was good too. My wife played the heck out of this one. Burnout 3, that's one of the best racing games. I think this one's my wife's favorite. And then Burnout Revenge, I don't really remember much about that one. Okay, and then all these Call of Duties, The Finest Hour, Call of Duty 2 Big Red One, and then I have Big Red One Collector's Edition. This Call of Duty case has seen better days. And then Call of Duty 3. I know Call of Duty 2 was different than the PC and 360 version. I'm not sure about 3. I don't know if that's the same game or not as the 360 version. Who knows? Anyway, here's another one of my favorite games, Call of Cthulhu. I'm not just saying that because it's rare and slightly expensive. I was a huge fan at the time of the H.P. Lovecraft short stories. This kind of puts a lot of them, if not all of them, into one game. Especially the short story Shadow over Innsmouth was like the first chapter of this game. It's terrifying. Yeah, just a really creepy game. It kind of plays a lot like Half-Life without all the physics stuff. Sort of an adventure mystery game. It's like a grand adventure, but more creepy and macabre than Half-Life. It's set back in the early 1900s. So you have old school firepower. Oh, here's one other one from Jav Geez. Gave me the old Capcom Fighting Evolution. I really like this game. It plays a lot like SNK versus Capcom. I enjoy anything Street Fighter related. I like this game. Carmen Sandiego. I didn't know if it was. I was thinking it might be a point and click puzzle mystery game like the PC game, but it looks more like it's an action platformer type game. Who knows if they have the old school Carmen Sandiego elements in there. I haven't gotten to that one yet. This was one of my favorite Resident Evil 4 ripoffs, Cold Fear. If this just had the Resident Evil title on it, it would fit in well in the Resident Evil series. All the enemies and bosses seem like Resident Evil bosses. The final boss in this game actually is sort of like the same setting and the same type of monster as the final boss in Resident Evil Revelations. So this was way before that game. But yeah, if you like Resident Evil, this game's for you. It has more camera. I think it has stationary camera and over the shoulder, so it plays fairly well. Commando Strike Force, Crash Team Racing, Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge. That's one I've always wanted to play. I just recently got that. Chronicles of Narnia, the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the game. James Cameron's Dark Angel from that TV show. I haven't played that either. Dark Watch is a great first-person shooter published by Capcom. Destroy All Humans. These are my wife's games. She likes these. I think she beat one of them, if not both of them. Dead or Alive 3. That's the only Dead or Alive I have for Xbox, besides the old beach volleyball. Hello. Oh, what do we have here? Oh yeah, Doom. I have a loose disc of Doom 3. I gotta find a case for that one. Put it down here with my caseless wonders. Where was I? Ah, yes. Driver 3. Oh no. Dino Crisis 3. I was happy to find this the other day for $8. This was one on my wish list. I know it's crappy, but I just wanted to have that for my Xbox. Every time I try to play it, I just kind of get frustrated and lost. But this is a game I would like to go through and beat one day and see if there's something redeemable about it. Driver 3. Fun game to play free play mode, but man, the story level missions are pretty annoying. This is another amazing feat that was during the 6th gen. No, 6th gen. Yeah, the Morrowind on Xbox. You wouldn't think a grand PC RPG game like this would be able to run on a system of that time, but this did a great job. I understand this one's backward compatible for the Xbox One, and if you put this disc in, it downloads a crisp, clean version of that game. But I can't confirm that. I don't have an Xbox One. Here are a couple of really good budget titles. I got these back in the day for $20 a piece, and I got probably more enjoyment out of them than most $60 games or $50 games I purchased back then. Evil Dead Fistful of Boomstick, sort of an action hack and slash beat 'em up shooting adventure. Same thing was this one. This one's a little bit more intricate. Degeneration. Both really great games set in the Evil Dead universe. It even had Bruce Campbell in there voicing Ash. Get in there. Okay. And then Fable, one of my wife's favorite game. If not, that might be her favorite game. And then the Lost Chapters added. I was surprised they just didn't come out with an expansion. That was kind of before that was the thing. This has everything on it. Lost Chapters. Far Cry Instincts. That's another really impressive game that probably only Xbox could have done back then. That is something I would not expect to be able to run on an Xbox, but it was pretty amazing. Fusion Frenzy, I just got that one. Godfather, the game. This is a really good Grand Theft Auto type game. A lot to do in this game. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. That's a must-have. The Great Escape, based on the movie. I still haven't gotten around to that one. That's one I'm interested in. I have these 3 Harry Potter games. Chamber of Secrets. What the heck is that? Sorcerer's Stone and Goblet of Fire. I'm not really into the Harry Potter. My wife is, but she'll never play these, so I just have them to fill out the collection more. This is one of my favorites too, Half-Life 2. I even love it. This is probably my preferred version. I'm just so pleased with the Xbox that it can run this game, and it runs it well. Like you get so immersed into this. It's so nice looking I don't want to say for an Xbox game, but it's just amazing that this whole thing could run on an Xbox. The load times are a little long, and I don't know, maybe the frame rate and all that is not as great, but I didn't really notice it at all. It's just a great experience right there. I recommend this one. It's really, really cheap. I don't know if I should recommend it or not. You can play it on other things where it runs better. I'm just so nostalgic for Xbox. I just love that this thing is on there. Halo runs beautifully. I have the Game of the Year one and the regular year one here. I don't know if there's why I have both of them. Halo 2. My brother and I used to play multiplayer on that a lot. Hitman Contracts. I didn't play this one yet. I would think I would like these games because I like Splinter Cell, but I never really got into them. The Incredibles, great movie. Haven't played the game. Invisible War. This is a really fun game. I was putting a lot of time into, but I ended up getting stuck on it. I really want to go back and complete this game. Sort of feels like it's like System Shock or BioShock, kind of like an action first-person RPG, real time. Here's the one my wife wanted. This is by BioWare that does the Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republics, and Mass Effect. Sort of the same type of game set like in like ancient Asia, or it's kind of like Kung Fu themed. This looks really cool too. My wife was playing this, but she got stuck on it or something. I think that's the one she wants to go back and play. Right now she's spending all of her time with Dragon Quest Builders 2, so I don't know if she'll ever get to that. Juiced racing game. Oh, here's one. Kakuto Chojin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The developer of this game, Saishi Ichi, worked on a lot of great games like Virtua Fighter. I still haven't played this yet. Dave over at the Virtua Brothers, aka Sagalacious, he sent me this. He wanted to share this with me. He's big into these type of games. He's a big Virtua Fighter fan. So he sent me this. He has a really great informative video on this. It's called like Pet Projects of Gaming Icons about Seiichi Ishii that developed this game. Well, if I remember, I'll put it in the link. It's a really great watch, kind of interesting story about this game and the developer. Land of the Dead, one of the worst games I ever played, but I kind of created a bond with it, trying to beat it, so I'm not getting rid of it. Road to Fiddler's Green, kind of a spin-off of the movie with Dennis Hopper and John Leguizamo, the Super Mario Brothers movie. No, just kidding. They were both in that movie too, though. Yeah, this is kind of a spin-off of that movie. It's a really crappy first-person shooter. I remember I got the demo of this out of Xbox Magazine, and it was the movie theater level, and it was pretty good. But that's about the only good level. It really was a chore to get through this game, and I felt like crap when I finally beat it. But there weren't that many zombie games back then. I was big into zombies at this point. There weren't that many zombie games like now. They're all over the place. Jason Vectrex and Jav and Robert Mitchell are always playing that new World War Z. Looks really good. This is nothing like that. This is trash. But anyway, so Fellowship of the Rings. This is more like a kind of reminds me of Ocarina of Time with Bilbo Baggins. This is not the EA title. The rest of the movies were EA, and these are really, really good hack and slash arcadey goodness right here. These are some of the best movie tie-in games I've ever played. My brother and I used to play the crap out of these. Two Towers and The Return of the King. These are great, great hack and slash adventure games. Sort of level by level. You can power up your stats and all that after every level. It's really good. And then the Third Age, I think this is more like a Final Fantasy. I haven't played that yet. I'm busy playing the real Final Fantasies for the first time. Max Payne, this is one of my first Xbox games. I love this game. I'd never played a game like this until this point. Sort of adventure, third-person shooter, kind of really gritty. Some of the scenes in this game are really disturbing, especially now that I'm a father. I have little girls. I don't know if I could go back and play this game. And I still haven't played Max Payne 2. This game is always so cheap, so I can't pass up on that one. Mech Assault, and Mech Assault 2 Lone Wolf. I got that one for 95 cents. Frontline, this is another one of my favorite first-person shooters on Xbox. This is one of the first Xbox games I played. What a great experience. I don't know if it holds up now. Back then, this Normandy Beach level at the beginnings was just the coolest thing ever. This sort of played more like a Bond game than a war game. Like you're pretty much like a spy, like a one-man army, like infiltrating areas and whatnot. Then Rising Sun. I didn't play this one too much. I need to go back and get into Rising Sun. That's the Pacific World War II game. Mercenaries. One of those open world GTA type games. This is one my wife was interested in. I haven't played it yet. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Need for Speed. Need for Speed. Night Club 3 Dub Edition Remix. These are beautiful games. I picked that one up for cheap at the thrift store. It's hard. I can't even find cheap games at the thrift store anymore. I get really lucky. Hav sent me this one. I'm really happy to have this one because I have I had the second one. This one has some great games on there. Road Blasters. So happy I have that on Xbox. Spy Hunter. Yeah, really cool. Rampage. This is the one I got back then. You can't beat this. It has all of the Mortal Kombats on there. It has Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. Oh yeah, it doesn't have 1. But anyway, I'm glad I have those. I'm not really into Metal Gear, but 50 cents, I can't beat that. Metal Gear 2 Substance. Here's a really great, this is one of my early Xbox games as well, Deadly Alliance, Mortal Kombat. These games, I love the style of these back then. I'm not too crazy about the new style of Mortal Kombat. These are so fun and over the top. They still kind of have that kung fu movie feel. I really love this game. This one's 3D. I'm not really a fan of that. It plays more like Tekken. You can sidestep and all that, but it's, for what it is, it works really well. MotoGP, the motorcycle game, the beautiful looking game. Namco Museum, and another thing I'm really happy to have these 5 or 6 Namco games I can play on Xbox. NBA Street Volume 2 and 3. Don't have 1. The only football game I have, NCAA football, 2003. Need for Speed Underground. These are beautiful too, with pretty ladies too. Nightcaster. This is one Tight White gave me, my homeboy. So this might be an RPG. This is something else I gotta play. I really wanted to go and play this Ninja Gaiden after beating the old original NES game. I thought it would be a good challenge, but I'm really afraid of it. Guys, let me know if this is really as hard as people say, because I just don't like raging out these days when I have kids. I assume it is really hard. It's probably even harder than the NES one. Oddworld Month's Odyssey. I've never played this, but it was a rare find at the thrift store. I hardly ever find any games at the thrift store, and I collect for the Xbox, so I got that one. Peter Jackson's King Kong, 50 cents, can't beat that. These were, I thought this was a pretty nice looking game. Psychonauts, another one my wife played but never beat. I think that's another one she wants to go back and beat. This looks like a cute little game. Project Gotham Racing. I just got this one recently, part 2. What else? Oh, Wolfenstein down here. Okay, one more shelf, guys. Wolfenstein. Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Really cool Wolfenstein. Now this one's pretty challenging from what I remember. This is one of my favorites. Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, with old Vin Diesel there. You would never expect, I watched these movies and they were decent movies, but you would not expect a tie-in game to be as good as this. This surpasses the movies in every way. This is like up on almost the level of like BioShock or Half-Life. This is such a great first-person adventure. And for the time, the graphics were amazing. This looks more like Xbox 360 graphics. This could have not been done on PS2. This is just a really great game. Such a cool universe created in this game to explore and try to escape. Most of this game, you're trying to escape a prison. It's a really cool game. A lot of interesting characters. Red Faction 2. I think we played this back in the day, but I hardly remember. I remember there was a lot of destructible environments. That could have been the first one. Who knows? Roadkill. I still haven't played this one yet. It's a Twisted Metal ripoff, like stuff like that. Oh, here's another really, really good one. I love this game. I never see it anywhere, so I spent $5 on it at a retro game store up in Idaho I was at. I think there might have been some kind of deal going on too. Free Radical, I think they did some of the Time Splitter games, if I'm not mistaken. And then Codemasters published it, the publishers of My Precious MTV music generator. Oh yeah, here it is, right up here, from the creators of Time Splitter. This game is amazing. Came out around the time of Resident Evil 4. I love these third-person adventure games with shooting. And this guy is like he gets some kind of psychic powers, so he can use like telekinesis and pyrokinesis, and he can use like mental, like Professor X type deals where he can take over people's minds. A lot of stealth in this game too. It's a really cool atmosphere in this game. It kind of almost feels like a horror game too. I know there was another game around the same time called Psyops, but I think this one's way better. Secret weapons over Normandy. These are beautiful. This is another one my brother-in-law gave me. Such a variety of different games you can get on this generation of video games. Sega GT, and then Jet Set Radio Future. I was never really into Jet Set Radio. These Sega GT was, I think that was kind of like the Gran Turismo for Sega and Microsoft back then. Shell Shock Nom, that was 50 cents. I still haven't played that yet. I think I played the sequel of this one that had zombies in it. Everything has to have zombies now. WWF Showdown. This is I don't know how well it plays, and it's kind of clunky, but this game has all of my favorite wrestlers. You can't believe the roster. This is not an official WWF product. I didn't spend that much on it. I think this, I don't know how much, I would have not spent that much money, but this had, like Sting. I don't know how they got the rights to use all these guys like Hulkster, Warrior, Jake. The list goes on and on, like the Von Erichs are in here, Terry Funk. You just can't believe all of the classic, like Paul Orndorff. Any wrestler you can name was in here. You create a wrestler and all this. It plays okay. It's no Def Jam Vendetta, but it plays all right. Oh, and this is another reason why I bought the Xbox for Shenmue 2, because I love Shenmue 1 too, so much. But then the crazy thing is I never finished this back then. My brother did. I just kind of got overwhelmed with it. I kind of like the quaintness of the first Shenmue, and it's not overwhelming at all. This thing's set in an open, huge like world like in Hong Kong, and there's so many people to interact with, you get overwhelmed. At least I did at the time. Luckily, thanks to Dat Game Collector's Backlog Challenge last year, or was it the year before, I went back and I beat this, and I'm so glad I did, because I think I might even like this more than Shenmue 1 now. This is just a great experience right here. I love this game so much. It's not even really... I've been playing all these RPGs lately, and this thing really isn't as time-consuming as those. People say it's boring and pointless in some areas, but I don't know. I think kind of grinding around for levels is kind of boring and pointless. This thing, there's no levels. It's just mostly exploring and interacting with people and trying to figure out where to go next. Game Crazy, do you remember them? They were on Hollywood Video. Oh man, so many good ones. Oh man, I love this game so much. Silent Hill 2, Restless Dreams. Other than Resident Evil, this is, you know what, for games that take itself seriously, this is probably my favorite survival horror. Resident Evil 1 and 2 are kind of kooky. They're kind of more like action games, I would say. This thing is just so freaking disturbing, and the characters are so interesting, and the environments are so weird and bizarre and unsettling, and you're always wondering what's going to happen next. And see what the story is behind all these weird characters. Silent Hill 2, great game. I finally found this one. I've been looking for it. The Room. I just played a demo of it, and I got lost back in the day, but it's a beautiful looking game, and I kind of want to beat that one. Simpsons Hit and Run, another one of my wife's favorites. I think she beat that. I never beat it, but it's Grand Theft Auto with Simpsons. Just what you'd expect. It's like perfectly done. If you're a Simpsons fan, if you want a Grand Theft Auto type game, Sims busting out, yeah. Projects No Blind, first person shooter. I have not played yet. It looks pretty cool. Soul Calibur 2. This was one of the top fighting games at the time. I think I have it on every console. Spy Hunter. I finally got this for cheap. I've been looking for it off of eBay. It has The Rock in there. It was based on a movie that was going to star The Rock, but it never came out. But they had the game. So it looks like it has some vehicular combat racing levels, and it also has some on-foot action levels where he plays The Rock, kind of like action beat-em-up. So you gotta love playing as The Rock. Spider-Man. That's another must-have. I don't have Spider-Man 2, but SSX Tricky. I just found that one recently. Star Wars Battlefront. This is probably my favorite Battlefront right here. Part 1 and Part 2 is good too. I just kind of prefer the first one a little bit more. Jedi Outcast. I hear so many good things about this, and I'm glad I found it. But I still haven't played it yet. I know Lando is in here. Lando is my favorite Star Wars character. Before before Solo, the Star Wars story, Lando was my favorite. The classic Lando is still my favorite Star Wars character, but I hear he's in there. I don't know if Billy D. Williams does his voice or not. Yeah, by the way, Solo is not a bad movie. It's probably my favorite of the newer Disney movies. Okay, then speaking of Star Wars, Lego Star Wars. My wife likes that. That's the original. Knights of the Old Republic, I got pretty far on, but never beat it. This is back when I didn't realize how RPGs work. I didn't realize you had to grind a lot, so I would just get to something and die and get frustrated. I really got to go back and play this now. And then I hear this one's really easy, the sequel, so I got to play that. Here's another RPG I never played. Hello. How do you say this? Sudeki. I still haven't played that. I don't know when I'll ever have time. Oh, here's one of my favorite fighting games. Gamer's Manuel sent me this. I just mentioned I liked it in the text group, and then he said, "Oh, I have that. You can have it." Or, man, I'm really happy. The Neo Geo copy of this is hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. I'm happy to have it on Xbox, so I love this game. I can play this game over and over right here. Another fighting game that I enjoy from the creators of Mortal Kombat, or the one half of the creators. What is it? Tobias made this one. Tao Fing, Fist of the Lotus. A really beautiful game for the time. I think this probably, the visuals were up there or better than Mortal Kombat at the time. Oh, I love this game. Time Splitters, Future Perfect. This is a really cool, sort of tongue-in-cheek kind of comedy adventure. First person, it's so funny. It's like a parody of a lot of your favorite movie genres. You travel through time going on a mission. I don't really remember the mission you're playing. You're this Jason Statham, Vin Diesel looking guy here. I think his name is Cortez. You're like some kind of time cop or whatever. You go around, and each level is based on a different time period. A lot of them are based on like pop culture movies you would really like. I love this game, Time Splitters. And then we have all these Ghost Recons my brother-in-law gave me. These are beautiful on Xbox. Summit Strike. I think this was his favorite one we used to play. Summit Strike 2. Ghost Recon 2 Vanilla. Here's a great expansion pack. This is before stuff had downloads or expansions or DLC. But you could get these little discs. And they had add-ons for the game. This one has an add-on for Ghost Recon and one for Splinter Cell. I downloaded these extra missions and played them on my Splinter Cell. Another reason why Xbox is the best, they had a hard drive so you could do stuff like that. And then is that what that is? Yeah. Oh, and then here's Classic Trilogy. It has 3 of them in one. Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell. So I have 3 copies of Splinter Cell 1. I have the Platinum Hits. And the old Black Label. This is my favorite stealth game. I love this game so much. I didn't know much about these, but when I first got my Xbox, my roommates were nice enough to give me some games for Christmas, and this was one of them. And I didn't really know much about it, but I put it in, and I was glued to this thing. Man, I love this so much more than Metal Gear Solid. This game is just so much fun to play. I lost so many hours playing Splinter Cell. So I had to get the second one, Pandora Tomorrow, when it first came out. Love this one just as much. And then Chaos Theory was the third one. This one, the graphics. This is one of those amazing Xbox games that look like the gen later. It looks like it's something that would have been done on 360. This is one of those amazing Xbox games that could only look this good on the original Xbox during the 6th gen. And I recently got this one to fill out my collection at Half Price Books, Double Agent. I did beat this on 360, but I never had it on the original Xbox. Top spin here, Tron 2.0. I haven't spent much time on that, but I was happy to find that for $1 at a yard sale. Tony Hawk Underground, one my wife really likes. She beat that one. True Crime. This is one my brother used to play a lot. I kind of want to go back and play it. It has David Lopan from I don't know if he's back here, from Big Trouble in Little China. That actor, I think his name's James Hong. He plays a character in here that's just the same, almost the same character as David Lopan, so that's pretty hilarious. Turok Evolution. This is one of those cooler early first-person shooters. Really good movie adaptation. This thing, oh, I wish every movie adaptation video game was this dead on. This really captures the vibe, look, and feel of the Warriors movie. I love that movie. This game gets pretty challenging, though. Beat 'em up, sort of like if Double Dragon or Streets of Rage was kind of more open worldy. I wouldn't say it's open worldy. It's just kind of a bigger experience. I can't quite explain it. Reckless, the Yakuza missions. I still haven't spent much time on that. And then last but not least, we have X-Men Legends. I really haven't played that one much. I don't know why I spent $3 on it. Sometimes I get carried away with, if I see an Xbox game, I just get excited because I love original Xbox. Then maybe next time I'll show you the old 360 collection. Anyway, thanks for sticking around, guys. Yeah, you'll be seeing this behind me from now on. Oh man, this took 42 minutes. Darn it. Alright, thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Bye.